Hello and good evening. This is Grillenheimer. I apologize. It's at night and I'm kind of whispering again. But I think I'm using a good microphone right now. I apologize. You can't see my ugly mug, but oh well, such as it is. I played a game. It was not a quick game either. It was these guys versus these guys. Well, these combiners both equal a total of 19 stars. 19. Keep that in mind. And so, instead of just playing such a low count of combiner characters, he has a total of 29. Cronus over here, Prytron, has 31. So while Cronus does have a really good attack, their combiner attributes or actions are pretty weak. And I don't really have good decks available for these guys. And with that in mind, what I'm going through here is the deck I was using for the Decepticons, Prytron here. Let me get to one. And what I have done to make up for missing idiomatic cards for this combined character, I've been using 3 different Enigma cards. Minosaur Enigma, Stunicon Enigma, a Predacon Enigma, and somebody else. There are 3 different Enigmas. Oh, they're over here. There are 3 different Enigmas. So, and originally when I was playing these guys early on, I haven't really played them in a while, and haven't done a video in a while, I apologize, is that originally I was not doing the top action. There we go. I was not doing the Predaking on the battlefield. Tonight I did a little something different, and let me go over that with you. If anyone else happens to be doing some crazy stuff of this magnitude, since I don't have Enigma cards, other than what I have to go by, I'm erasing the word Predaking, or Minosaur, or Devastator, or Volcanus, whatever the name is, and I just put, if you have a combiner in the battlefield, and it gives me this allowed action for whatever it is. And it helped me come into play to be able to add an upgrade onto, like, say, Cronus, who, we'll get to that here in a second too, Danny. 1 extra upgrade slot for any upgrade. So Cronus can have 4 upgrades. The 4th one can be a weapon, an armor, or utility. So you can have, weapon, armor, utility, and any extra upgrade. That's his 1 perk. But I was actually really able to do that with these guys. This deck down here I normally use for my Spetabots normally. Okay, here's the kicker. With my Quintesson combined Cronus, remember, they totaled 19. So I added Acid Storm, which really didn't bring a whole lot into play for me, because I rarely transformed him. And over on the Decepticon side, I added Drag Strip. And what I failed to realize is I could have had a 6-star character over here too, instead of a 5-star character, is what I added. Go a little slow. 10, 5, 4. That's 19. I could have had a 6-star character instead of a 5-star character. But the added rule to this, since neither one of these total 25, they're not official characters, they're not official combiners. So instead, and these guys started off. I got an Enigma card early on, okay, and you know, and these guys are pretty much. Let's put them right here. There's only 3 of them, okay. There's only 3 of these guys, and then put him right, and then on this side, Condor is the only one that has 2 different modes. The other of these only have a robot mode, so they can't transform. If I only have one of these in that it can flip into a robot mode, and I have an Enigma card, he can transform very early as well, even with only 4 characters. So, here's the kicker. If anyone else comes up with this clever idea of new combiners to play for funsies in the card game, and it's less than 25, and you add another character, before you can combine, your extra character has to be knocked out first. And then, as long as they're all in robot mode, and you play the Enigma, then they combine. But that extra character, in my case on this side, was Dragstrip, had to be knocked out first. On this side, it had to be Acid Storm. And, you know, for the most part, when you play, you're playing kind of fair. You know, whoever pretty much last tapped is who you're going to be attacking the next turn, for the most part. And at one point, what was it? I had, 5 characters on this side, 4 characters on this side. And since they started first, their last full turn, 2 characters could attack on this side. What that does, that gives you a little more play with the individual characters, as well as not overpowering each other early on as well, which could be a good thing, I guess, but it's trying to balance everything out here. And then this, every enemy combat analysis was in this guy's deck. I was able to use it, and it was already one of the little characters, and when I combined, of course, it went right there with them. And I was able to utilize this because they're both 19-star characters. And it really worked out really well. Volcanus, that's who else I have. The Volcanus Enigma, the Dinobot Enigma, the Predacon Enigma, and so it's after midnight, I need to go to bed. Stunicon Enigma. Those are 3 different cards in here. And instead of the combined name, I thought if you have a combiner, do this action. And that's what sort of helped these guys along. Because their combiner, overall, they're both fairly weak characters. I did finish up... Oh, where is he? Here he is. Clamort. He was in dire need of being finished, and I failed to use a black pen, so you can see what I have added. Demicon, Beast, Melee, Demicon, Leader, Melee. So when he's in robot mode, he is a leader. He probably should be a leader on both sides, but, this is his Beast mode, and that's his leader mode. And that was another thing I noticed. Let's see here. Let's just flip them all over. I may have gone over this before. It's just been a while. And I apologize. Prytron himself is a ranged character. Ranged. Ship and specialist and Satilicon. All of these are here we go. Camera. Satilicons over here. For the most part, these guys are mostly ranged characters. Over here, my Cronus Quintessons are pretty much melee fighting characters. Melee. I mean, they're all melee characters over here. Oh, sorry. So, and what I was using was my, well, just for the sake of playing the game, this is really a deck that I created for my Predacon team, mainly. So I had 3 Predacon Enigmas in here. And I did get to them pretty early in the game as well. Oh. Alrighty. Okay. And I finally got these finished. I need to go over a few things. And it is this. This was on request. It's not great. This one was photocopied and finished colored. This one is the original. This is what was requested on the other side. This is what was originally requested on the bot side. And what I have done is that, Danny, is that I took your wording and to be able to fit it in here, and once I wrote so small I probably could have fit your verbiage in here, but I paraphrased it to have it make a little more sense. If in bot mode is in your KO pile, you may scrap 2 cards from your hand to return it to the field with only 1 hit point. So if he's in KO and he's in this mode and you scrap 2 cards from your hand, he can come back with 1 health. Let me explain something here, and you can see it. Okay, you can see this was photocopied. It's not as dark as this one, and I finished it with the pencil for the Autobot colors here. This is the original, and I started trying to do like a star thing, flame on behind him. And I started with a green in here, and I didn't like it, so I just stopped as quickly as I started. And I hate I even did that because you can see it, and it's sort of. And then here, I started working on his hands, and I was kind of going for a brown, and I didn't like it, and I used a different color. But that's the original color right there, and I do apologize. If you want to try to fix it, you can, but this is the original. And then once I realized the verbiage was on the wrong side that you asked for, I copied this, put it on regular paper, glued it to another card, and it's in its own sleeve, so you'll get the sleeves too. You see, this is what I originally did, and I realized I did it the wrong way. Once per turn, scrap cards from your hand to bring a KO'd character back into play. The number of cards scrapped equals the health it has when revived into play. So, if and it gives you 2 different Rekgars in a way, and I think exactly what you wanted here. You got Junkie on leader, so he's a leader. Melee on one side, range on the other. Once per turn, scrap cards from your hand. Well, I just read that. When you flip to this mode, scrap cards from your hand and bring a KO'd character back into play. The number of cards scrapped equals to how much health it's repaired. So, and I think that's identical on this side. Yes. And you can see this is a little darker than this because it was photocopied, and I apologize. But contact me somehow through YouTube. If you don't want to give your information on YouTube, send me an email associated with my username, and I might be able to get with you. 7 stars. I finished this one in with color. If you want to do that with this side, that's fine. This is the original. That is not really correct. This was not supposed to be it was supposed to be like a road in the background. and I didn't like it, and I thought, I'll just do a sky background, and made it look blue and then gray. Those are kind of my initials right there. And so you get the same effect over here. And again, I apologize. So I thought overall, they're bigger, they're not small like this, and they don't look bad. They don't look bad. You want to play around with them, it's the same character basically, but there's, I wouldn't play with them in the same game on the same team. So that's that. Okay, I wish I had just a little more light in here. This is I'm making some new characters. They're based on deceased and living loved ones. Some of my family, immediate family, even me. And this is supposed to be a boat, and it's very, very basic. Come on, focus. I'm running out of time. I got 3 minutes left. This is the feet from the front side, trying to show kind of a mid-transformation. That's the motor. It is sideways. It's an old glass bar motorboat from the late 50s, and I haven't really finished this one. It's based on my grandmother. Of course, it's not going to look like my grandmother. It's going to look like a robot. This one is sort of based on a sailboat my parents used to have, and I did this really rough sketch, thinking about the toys, to give me also a visual of where I wanted stuff. And let's just put that right there for now. I had a grandfather who had a houseboat. I can't remember the houseboat. I forgot to ask my mom the brand name to look up. I got to sleep on it a whole one time. So I'm going to make him out of a houseboat, a grandparent. Crap. Where'd my other stuff go? Come on. I'm out of time. And this is, well, a water tank. There's someone in my family who used to design water tanks. And originally when I was a kid, I wanted to do the same thing, but the company's all but folded. But so I put C-A and T, which is a lot of our first names, instead of what it should be. And I've probably given who I am away by now. I don't care. But this will transform into a robot. I haven't gotten that far yet. Keep going. Well, this one is based on me. Can you tell what car it's supposed to be? It should be obvious. I thought I did a pretty good job on that. Okay. There's the sketch. Come back down here. This is the final. And I'm going to shrink it down and put it on a playing card. This is based off on a loved one who's currently living. I renamed the boat Visper, V-I-S-P-E-R, but the character's name is Teak because we kept up painting and maintaining the teak on a sailboat like you wouldn't believe, because of the damage, weather damage that can do to the teak wood on a boat. Has like a mast, sort of a gun here. You got the cabin here. The arms, fold out here from the top. There's the bottom part of the mast. I thought I did a pretty good darn job. We'll see how it goes.